listening to theoutdoorstation.co.uk. It's a podcast. It's a magazine. No, it's a podzine.
Hello and welcome to the Podzine, dated Monday the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. Yes, welcome once again on this bonfire night. I'm not too sure how many bonfires will be going on tonight on the 5th of November, but I'm sure a few people will be remembering that date in spectacular style. Yes, welcome to the Podzine, the audio magazine for outdoors people everywhere. And I hope you've all had a good week. We went down to the waterfall walks, as mentioned in the Trail magazine a couple of weeks ago, down by Brecon. I wouldn't begin to try and pronounce the name. It began with H, and it is very spectacular, and there was an awful lot of water coming off the hills and pouring down the waterfall. And as beautiful as it was, surrounding the autumnal colours, I think it would be a lovely place to go during the springtime, when there's slightly less water and there's certainly more flowers around. But it's a beautiful walk if you ever feel like going that way. And that was one of the recent ones mentioned in Trail magazine. Thanks once again to everybody for the feedback and suggestions that have been trickling through. It's been nice to hear from you. Thank you for that. So much so that we've started the feedback page we mentioned last week, the listeners page on the website. And the email address, should you wish to make some comments and some suggestions, or tell me just exactly how you are listening to these podcasts and if you're enjoying them, and if you have any ideas for future ones, of course, please drop me a line to info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk. That's info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk. But by all means, pop along and have a look at the listeners page and see what people have been saying. Plus, of course, you'll see that there's a links page as well. So if you get bored during a lunch break or a coffee break or whatever, and you want to have a look around and see what everybody else is doing, be them bloggers or clubs or trusts or destinations or hobbies, whatever it may be, magazines even, other podcasts, they are being collated and I'm trying to update them on a weekly basis. So if you have any more information in there, please drop me a line and I'll add you to the links. So, coming up on the show, we're going to have a quick review of the December magazines that have just come out from TGO and from Adventure Travel. And then we've got interviews with Buff Designs regarding some new products that are coming through in 2008. And we have a chat with somebody from the AMG Group, a name that perhaps isn't familiar to you, but they're the distributors for Trangia, Wayfarer and Storm Waterproofing, amongst others. And that's quite interesting what's coming through there. We also do what we should be doing. We go to the pub. Yes, all outdoors people do like a good pub. And I've been to the best pub in Britain, the best town pub of the year, as recommended in the Good Pub Guide 2007. So we have a bit of a chat with them. But first, a little bit of trade news, actually, one that affects us all as consumers as well as retailers. Sadly, we hear that Woodland Organics, distribution company, has ceased to trade. The name may not be familiar, but certainly the products that they were distributing will be. And most famous of all, perhaps, is the Hennessy hammock. They were the UK distributors for the Hennessy hammocks, Skins Mobile, Guy Out Designs, that's the Firefly, various other attachments like that, and also the meal gear, which was used on the Jetboil system. Plus the Packlight lights and a whole variety of really interesting things they distributed, actually, which is a real shame to see them go. So we wish Jamie and the guys all the best, and I hope it all pans out okay. And we'll keep an eye on the old internet to see who's becoming the new UK distributor for those products. So if you're in the market for a hammock, a Hennessy hammock, and you see one, don't hesitate to buy it, because I have a feeling it'll be going. You need to purchase direct from the States. So that's a little bit of news and gossip. Let's move on to our first interview. The Podzine. In the variety of outdoor magazines recently, you may have seen some adverts from Buff promoting a new product called Hide. the Buff hides. They look very simple, very useful, and very practical, very much like the Buffs themselves. And I caught up recently with John Hughes, the sales manager at Buff UK, to ask him about these products. Now, pay attention to this interview because actually Buff have given us some of these hides to give away as prizes at the end of this podcast.
Well, it's a new multifunctional eyewear item that we saw many years ago. It's a product that's been in the States now for some considerable while. We thought it would complement the Buff range ideally because it's more than just an eyewear retainer. The basic model of hides doubles as not just an eyewear retainer, but it's a cleaning cloth and a glasses case in one.
Okay, so it's for sunglasses, outdoor glasses, reading glasses?
Absolutely. Any type of glasses, basically, that have got stems that the ends will fit over, it'll work perfectly.
Okay, and it's a neat little unit. Obviously, at the moment I can see there's a pair of sunglasses tucked inside a sort of material holder. How do you unravel it?
Okay, it's a polyester microfiber fabric, so that's why you've got the properties that will enable it to double as a cleaning cloth without damaging the glass lens. It'll also protect the glasses lens as well. There is a patented technology. It's a rolled system that the designers created when they first launched the product, so it then sits nice and neatly and comfortably at the back of the head, but then unrolls to enable the glasses to fit in.
So, very, very simple product, but actually very useful, isn't it? I mean, you can obviously unroll the glasses, wear them, put the retainer around the back of the head, and then tuck them away neatly and keep the sand and whatever off the glass.
Absolutely, Bob. You've got it in one. It's just a nice, inexpensive product. It's a great impulse buy. Anybody that's paying £110, £120 for a pair of top-end glasses wants some element of protection for them. This retails at £7.50. It's in a choice of about 6 or 7 different colours. It's a great little product, a great little add-on.
Okay, so if I am doing sort of water sports and so on, and I take something like that with me, presumably that's actually not going to float.
Absolutely correct, and we've got a new product within the Hides collection called the H2O version, and this is made from a high-grade neoprene, so that if you do, unfortunately, drop your glasses over the side of a boat or lose them while jet skiing, it will float to enable you to retain your glasses. And these are in a range of high-vis colours, so you can spot them easily if they do drop into the ocean. So you no longer have to wave goodbye and watch your glasses sink to the bottom of the sea. You can actually retrieve them. These retail a little bit more than the classic hide. These retail at $11.50, but again, it's a nice, affordable product. And again, you wouldn't want to lose a £120 pair of specs sink into the bottom of Davy Jones's locker.
Yeah, absolutely. And are these products available now for Christmas?
Yep, they're ex-stock. We can deliver to retailers straight away. So, available at all good outdoor stockists.
The Buff range is notorious for bringing on bright colours and fantastic patterns, and obviously it's a very, very popular product, and with over 200 designs in the range, it's always changing and moving forward. What other products have you got that are sort of coming through in the next year or so that you're working on?
Well, we're looking at producing a range of technical outdoor clothing to complement the Buff brand. Where we're kind of positioning this is that the user that would not want to buy a traditional cotton t-shirt because it's not a performance fabric. We're not necessarily looking at the person who wants to buy the high technical bodywear that's going to fit quite tightly to the body, will give moisture transportation and high performance, but is not going to be worn necessarily as a leisure garment. So we're kind of pitching in between. All the garments that we have here are designed using technical materials, so they are high performance, but a slightly looser fit, a more attractive cut, and in designs and prints and patterns that we think will be really attractive. So for somebody that's exercising regularly, maybe running, cycling, any kind of outdoor pursuit that you're taking quite seriously and want performance from a garment, we can kind of fit the bill, but with a range of styles that really are interesting and a little bit different.
Well, typical of the Buff name, really. You do have some wonderful colours here and certainly very attractive pieces, but I presume we're not going to see these on the high street for, 6 months, 12 months or so?
Well, it's going to be launched to a very limited number of shops initially because we're really keen to get consumer feedback as to how the products perform, what the technicalities are to the wearer. So there will probably be about 15 stockists nationwide who are going to trial this in quite a small way. And I think from all the feedback that we get, it'll be 2009 before we'll see this launched in a big way.
And where can people find out if they want to pursue these garments down, track them down? Where can they find out who's actually going to be stocking them?
Okay, best thing to do is drop us an email or look on our website, www.buffwear.co.uk. You'll see all the information provided on that site as to availability, pricing, and where you can obtain garments.
And you're obviously very excited about this development of the range.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, Buff's been in the UK now for nearly 10 years. We have, as you will probably realise, Bob, just stuck really to the multifunctional headwear side, but the strength and recognition of the brand now is such that we feel we can extend that brand offer to a clothing collection. Also, we have a range within the clothing collection that is very specifically Buff branded, because a lot of the performance athletes that we sponsor, provide clothing to, will be wearing the same garments that you'll be able to buy in the shops. So it's been a great accolade to us that people have seen our top professionals using gear and want to be wearing the same products themselves.
Well, pay attention, because there's a competition coming on later on in the Podzine to win 5 pairs of hides. And more about that a bit later on. First of all, let's have a look at the magazines. The latest magazines from TGO and Adventure Travel have dropped through the door. Starting off with TGO magazine, I think it's about 98 pages, so slightly thinner than last week. And of course, we must welcome the new deputy editor, Emily Rodway, and there's a short piece on her in there. So welcome to the world of outdoor magazines, Emily. So what have we got in the magazine? Well, it's fairly Scotland heavy, actually. There's 4 articles on Scotland in winter, and it looks at various aspects of the physical and mental challenges and the practical and the safety and so on, which I suppose is fair enough. But it does seem to dominate the magazine generally. Judy Armstrong, of course, does a lightweight boot review for ladies, and there's a short lighten up section where Chris Townsend tests down jackets and so on. As usual, we have the Colin Pryor bit, and there's an article on Skiddaw Unclimbed, and the Wild Walks. Actually, there's nothing south of the Peak District with the Wild Walks. There's 4 in Scotland, 2 in the Lake District, Cumbria, Yorkshire Dales, Derbyshire and the Peak District. So, yes, a pleasant local read, certainly a local read for the UK, and if you're anywhere north of the Peak District, there's plenty of choice in there, of course, as well. Plus the usual articles and bits and bobs on books and DVDs, reviews and so on. Not quite the same type of content as Adventure Travel. And Adventure Travel obviously goes for a different marketplace. It goes for the more European traveller and adventure activities. And it is very inspirational, I have to say. Lara, the editor, has done a great job on compiling quite an exciting magazine, and certainly it grips you very, very quickly as soon as you flip through the pages. She certainly... looking at Italy, Belize, Guatemala, Aconcagua, Sweden, Italy, Cyprus, Scotland, indoor skiing, how to look good on the slopes, 5 of the best, greener Christmas gifts, and good gear guide generally. She describes it as hot, sexy, exciting. We want them, and we want them now. And actually, they're good reviews on the products as well. What they have done, which is quite nice, on the jackets, they've broken it down into sections, as in men's trekking magazines, trekking jackets, lightweight jackets, and mountain jackets, and they've done the same for women's as well, which makes for good reading. And there's the usual sort of it's winter, let's get into the snow and start practicing our ice axe arrests and so on. But the pieces, yes, very enjoyable, and a good range from all different sort of abilities as well, which is good. One particular thing which is quite fun in the magazine, which I think has got its own sort of following, is the Spam Challenge. This is where you volunteer yourself, and they give you £70 and a tin of processed meat, and you have to disappear abroad for a couple of days with it, and travel and do exciting things. And in this particular one, the couple concerned went to Denmark on £70. and they start off with a £10 flight, leaving them 60 quid to play with for the weekend, and they've gone and climbed various peaks while they're in Denmark. It's good fun. It's just good fun, and it makes for a good read. I've read them all since I've been picking the magazine over the last few months, and they're all quite enjoyable. So, two different types of magazines, certainly a different marketplace perhaps, but if you want something local, looking after the UK, then certainly TGO magazine, and if you're looking for something, obviously it takes you further afield, then Adventure Travel can be thoroughly recommended. So let's have a look now. Earlier on, a few weeks ago, I spoke to Max Graves from AMG Group. Now, they look after a whole variety of things, in particular Trangia, Wayfarer and Storm waterproofing, as well as Van Gogh and a few other bits and bobs. On the Trangia front, I caught up with him and asked him what is new for the 2008 season.
2008 has brought in a couple of new developments for the Trangia collection. The main focus for the year is ultralight aluminium. What we've done is we've looked at the collection and brought the weight down of the main stoves by about 22%.
Yeah, the Trangia range is very popular. A lot of people are obviously very aware of it and have used it, no doubt, through the years with their Duke of Edinburgh and their first exploration, and still using it to this day. But I see there's a range of accessories which you tell me have actually been in the catalogue for some time, but I've not actually seen on the shelves.
No, well, the great thing with the Trangia cooking system is any part of the main body of the stove system is available as a spare parts, and there are another number of accessories that go with that. The one we have here is the multi-disc, a small plastic disc that can be used for multiple applications: chopping, serving, sieving out, a stove protection for the frying pan itself, and a snow stand. That's one of the things that's been there for a number of years and is a great little addition to your own system. One of the big things for 2008 is the introduction of a new material we're having. It's a material called hardened anodized. Great hard-wearing properties to the surface of the stove unit, but still maintaining the lightweightness of the aluminium system.
And what sort of price points are we looking at on these sort of products?
Well, the Trangia hardened anodized in the small stove system itself is looking about £60, but the actual stoves start at £40.
And the multi-disc unit?
Yeah, the multi-disc, that's only a £4.
£4 item. Everyone should have one.
Indeed.
Now, of course, with cooking, you've got to do a little bit of eating, and I see that we've got the Wayfarer brand under your umbrella as well.
Yeah, we have the Wayfarer brand under the umbrella. A great option for eating on the hill, on the go, or literally anywhere. Nice thing with the Wayfarer meal is it is wet food. It's ready to eat, hot or cold. No need to add any water. And if you are near a stream that may not be as clean as the tap water, you can still use that water to warm up your meal for you.
So it's a boil-in-the-bag meal?
It's a boil-in-the-bag meal. And this year what we have done is looked at introducing some new meals into the menu. What we've got here is a chicken tikka masala with a nice pillow rice. And then just as you wake up in the morning, we do have an all-day breakfast.
And we all like all-day breakfast.
We all like all-day breakfast. So we have beans, sausage, bacon and an omelette in there.
What about these people that do suffer from allergies, which is getting more and more common these days?
Yeah, no, nut allergies is very much more of a common thing, and people are becoming more and more aware of it. One nice thing with the Wayfarer Food is that the factory is a nut-free factory.
So for people who really want confirmation that it's safe to eat if they have that sort of problem, it's detailed on the packaging, is it?
Yeah, the packaging details all allergens that are within it, so if there's celery, if there's gluten, and, as we say, and nuts.
Okay, well, moving along the stand a bit more, I see that there's Storm waterproofing, which looks like it's been rebranded and presented as a sort of an all-in-one proofing system.
Yeah, no, it has been rebranded for 2008. It is an all-in-one proofing system, works very, very effectively, and is very simple for the consumer to use.
So just talk me through how you'd use that twin pack you showed me earlier on.
Yeah, well, no, the twin pack is a very easy purchase. 2 bottles with one purchase. You get a cleaner and a proofer in there. The cleaner would go in the washing machine where your detergent would go, and then the proofing product would go where your conditioner goes. And then in the one cycle, your garments are proofed and waterproof and washed.
And what garments are we talking about?
You're talking everyday outdoor products, your waterproofs, your fleeces, your trousers, pretty much any fabric on the outdoor industry.
So the twin pack that I've just looked at there, that's a one-wash system. How much is that?
Yeah, that one wash system, it's 75 millilitres for the one wash in each bottle there. For both bottles there, it's £4.50. And then if you want to make economies of scale, we do a 3-wash package, and that's £7.
Good. Well, the AMG Group obviously distribute a whole range of products that meet many needs in the outdoors market, from sort of the individual backpacker right through to the family camper. And we're being told on a fairly regular basis that interest in the outdoors world is in fact increasing. Have you got sort of figures to actually agree with that?
Well, we've seen a great increase in the amount of family campers coming out there wanting to buy a complete collection from the whole range. Really, it's going to be a good year for us.
So what's happening soon in the great outdoors? The Podzine Diary. Well, we try and cover each week, we try and cover a range of source of information for what's coming soon, and we've had to dig around a bit for the winter months. But certainly November the 23rd, one we've mentioned before, Kev Reynolds is doing the Cotswold Way lecture at Farncombe Estate in Broadway, Worcestershire, and that starts at 7:15. You can find the details on the farncombeestate.co.uk. The same weekend, 23rd to 25th, down in London at the Royal Geographical Society, Kensington Gore in London, a 2-day conference showcasing the very best in expertise and support for those planning an expedition. I think that would just be worth going along out of curiosity, really. The website is rgs.org/explore, or telephone number 020 7591 3030. And then a week later, on the 27th, Surviving the Ogre, a lecture by Chris Bonington, Doug Scott, Tut Braithwaite and Clive Rowland, recall the 1977 British expedition to the Ogre, and all proceeds to the Sherpa Heritage Museum project. Information can be got from telephone number 0207 491 7177. Now, another source of information for things that are taking place and courses and so on has actually come out of Bushcraft and Survival magazine. That's the winter issue number 10. But certainly a couple of things interesting happening over the November-December time. The 9th to the 11th of November, and also December, and the following week, 15th, 16th in December, there is a wilderness spirit philosophy based, I believe, in Derbyshire, Wales and Sussex, appropriately, so it's dotted around a bit. And that sounds quite interesting. See what the philosophy of the outdoors life, and the information can be found on trackways.co.uk. We also have a Vision Quest. I'm not too sure what that is, but that's on the 10th, 11th of November, and that's woodland-ways.co.uk. And then down in Wales, you've got the Prehistoric Gower experience on the 17th, 18th, and that's at dryadbushcraft.co.uk. So dryadbushcraft.co.uk, DRYAD bushcraft.co.uk. The Kalahari Bushman Adventure on the 21st, available through woodsmoke.co.uk. And then going into December, you've got the Wild Food School based down in Cornwall, and that is countrylovers.co.uk/WFS. And then Dryad once again for Introduction to Bushcraft on the 2nd of December. Winter Shelters, again from Dryad Bushcraft on the 8th, 9th, and that's at Farnham. And then finally Dryad Practical Woodman's Course at bushbasics.co.uk. Interesting things going on in the outdoors, and certainly as the winter months come along, it's interesting how the bushcraft community get busy and the walking community get quiet. But there you go.
If you've got any news or events you'd like us to cover on the Podzine, then contact us at The Outdoor Station. The address is info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
Bringing you more about the outdoors world. Call our voicemail service now. 020 8133 9434.
As many people will know, the outdoor station is based in Malvern, which is just outside of Worcester, and Malvern is on the Herefordshire-Worcestershire border. It's a range of hills, 9-10 miles of hills. We're very, very lucky from that point of view, and they are very prominent because they stick out of the ground and are surrounded by the valleys of the Vale of Evesham over towards Gloucestershire and Bredon and so on, and then it drops down into Herefordshire on the other side and then starts to pick up again towards the Brecons. So it makes for a very, very good day out, and it's very popular with people of all ages and abilities for a day out and a walk. Now, of course, when you come to a place like this, it's always nice to go to a pub which is warm, welcoming, serving good food and good beer as well. And we're very, very lucky, as one of our local pubs has actually been named the Town Pub of the Year by the Good Pub Guide 2007. And it's within strolling distance of the North Hill, the northerly-most hill on the range. And so I went to see Claire Willits, the manager at the Nag's Head, and congratulated her and the team on winning such a prestigious award.
Thank you very much. We're very excited and overwhelmed, really.
In the Good Pub Guide, then, when you get an award like this, do you suddenly notice an influx of customers?
Not necessarily, not within a few days, but you do start to notice over a period of weeks quite a few new faces lunchtimes more than evenings, really. Older people coming out for lunch, and I've got quite a bit more leisure time, really.
So people have actually made the effort to come and find you?
Definitely, yes.
Well, you're nestled just below North Hill here in the Malverns, which is a lovely place to be. Do you get many people coming in, walkers and so on, coming down from the hills after spending a day on the hills?
We do get quite a few, yeah. We get a lot of people actually meet on the car park early mornings, pre-order their food, or go for a long walk or a cycle, and then come back. So we're quite central for those sort of people, really.
That's ideal. And of course, there's plenty of parking here as well on the side roads, isn't there?
Yes, there's plenty of parking around. We have got a car park, but there's plenty of side roads all around, so...
And I noticed another thing which obviously will be popular with a lot of walkers is there's a sign on the door saying the dogs are welcome.
Dogs are very welcome. Some days you can come in and there's none, another days you can come in, there's 10 or 12 dogs around. They're all very well behaved. We do like them to be kept under control. And we do provide water and things for them, but we welcome them gladly.
Now, the pub somehow has managed to keep a definite aged charm without it being a plastic pub, I think, as a lot of people would call a lot of these modern pubs. In your own words, how would you describe the atmosphere here?
Very eclectic, really. There's a wide mixture of people from... the regulars that come in who are 70, 80 years of age, builders, businessmen, Morgan factory users an awful lot, so there's a very wide mix of people.
You've got, I've just walked in today, there's two roaring fires here, beautifully, probably Victorian, are they, fires?
I think so, yes. They're lit every morning. As soon as there's a bit of cold weather, the regulars light them, and that's it till next year.
It creates a wonderful atmosphere to walk in next to and sit next to a warm fire and drink a pint, certainly. And with the low roofs and the sort of the general decoration you've got, it's got a very timeless charm, hasn't it?
Yes, well, Duncan Ironmonger, the owner, is a big fan of buying very unusual things, and they just appear in the pub, which I think adds to the atmosphere, so...
Yeah, definitely. Now, let's talk about the actual award itself. It was obviously based on the welcome that you give people, warm-hearted and interesting pub, but also the content, the beer and the way it's kept and so on. Now, what's the range of real ales you've got here?
Right, we do have a range. We've got 16 hand pulls alone, without lagers, ciders, and we do this traditional scrumpies as well. And we do keep our bit of beers very well. We've got cellar lads that deal with those all day. It takes a lot of hard work. Most places only sort of keep 5 real ales, but to keep 16, you do really need to be on top of your beers, really. And
how difficult is it? I mean, that to have somebody doing that full time must be, obviously it's a great credit to you and of great value to the customers. But this it's the dark art. It's what goes on behind that closed door that most of the customers don't ever see.
Yeah, we do have a lot of regulars who are very interested in the cellar, and we'll gladly show them down there anytime they like. And it's quite fascinating, purely for the sheer size of the cellar and all the beers that are in there. We've got our own brewery now as well, which we're going to start showing people around in the next few months. So there's a lot we can do to show the customers how we run it.
Are you brewing your own beer already?
We've got a brewery called St George's Brewery in Callow End. We have 3 permanent ales on in the pub, which is Dragon's Blood, which is a dark one, Maiden's Saviour, which is an easy drinking lunchtime drink, and Charger, which is slightly stronger for the evening. And we also put a guest on every week. And that's just, they're just 4 of our sort of 16 real ales that we have on. But, we're enjoying it very much, and hopefully we can get our beers around the country a bit more.
Fantastic. I've been in Malvern sort of 20, 25 years, and the pub's always been here, but it's really over the last few years it seems to have come to prominence. Has there been a change of hands and the new owner's taking it on?
The current owner, Duncan, has had the premises for over 7 years now. It's took him a long time to build it up to what it is, and the clientele that we've got, and the good quality beers that we've got. And sort of the last 2 to 3 years it's sort of paid off, and it's really doing very well.
Yeah, excellent. Let's move on to the food, because just like the beers, you've got a wide selection of foods available, and they're all, it seems to be organic, or at least homegrown. Tell me a bit about that.
We do a sort of a lunchtime menu, which we do some hot dishes. We've got sort of beef and ale pie with Dragon's Blood, which is our own beer. We do jacket potatoes, sandwiches, curries. We do a wide selection of a lunchtime. Evening, we do a bit more of a restaurant menu. Again, some really lovely dishes, but we do try and use a lot of local suppliers as much as we possibly can. Local butchers, local bakery, because we like to support local businesses.
Well, it definitely gives a certain flavour to the place, and you've certainly got an advantage in the sense that the area over to one side, which is sort of more restaurant in the evening, is completely separate from the pub. So the pub doesn't lose its atmosphere, and it's not a restaurant with a bar. It's definitely a pub, and you've got a separate area, which is great.
We only allow food in the actual pub over lunchtime, which is only 12 till 2. And then we have sort of the restaurant area, which we call the other place, of an evening. And again, sort of after, last orders are 8:30, and after then, if the table's free, we encourage the drinkers to go and sit there and join in down there as well, to create the really good, traditional English pub atmosphere.
And I notice you've also got a good patio area at the front. You've sort of got the best of all worlds.
We have. We're very lucky. We've got 2 gardens. We've got the front garden, which we've got 2 giant umbrellas with heaters for, which now the smokers use an awful lot, which do have the sides at the weekends. We also have the back garden, which is a bit more picturesque, a lot more flower beds and lawns, etc.
I never knew that was there.
Yeah, again, that is heated, but we've got gas heaters out there, so there's an area for everybody to go, really.
Lovely. So you'd welcome walkers then. You're not worried about muddy boots and people coming off the hills with wet clothes.
No, that's fine by us. It's easy cleaned up.
Lovely. So here you are then, North Hill, just on the east side of North Hill, coming down to the Worcester Road, 5 minutes walk off the hills, and you're guaranteed to get a warm, rosy welcome with some superb beer, some fantastic food, and a roaring fire.
Definitely. I hope to see you all soon.
And the Nag's Head is a very well-known pub, so if you get lost at all, just ask one of the locals. They'll certainly point you in the right direction. But if you need the grid reference for it, which is probably the easiest way if you're carrying a map on the hills, it is 777496. That's 777496. Okay.
This machine will have eyes, ears,
The Podzine. Yes, well, it's competition time, I think, and we need now to find out who's won last week's prize, which was a £20 Mopple, a Mopple Star Hopper Light, one of those things that'll stand on the table, stick to the computer screen, or magnetise to the fridge. Valued at £20, and we've had about 50 entries. So what we did, we thought, in the interest of fairness, we would shove them all into the computer, and I'm just got to enter the last name here, and we'll see what it produces. Oh yes, those old sound effects records are worth their weight in gold. And the computer has pulled out of the hat for us the winner, and the winner is Leah Turner Instance from Barrow-in-Furness. Congratulations, Leah. You are now the proud owner of a Mopple, and that will be coming to you in the next couple of days. And what about this week's competition? Well, this week's competition is courtesy of Buff. Thank you very much indeed, Buff, for donating some hides. I've got 5 pairs of hides, each pair consisting of a normal hide, a classic hide, and a H2O hide, and they are in black. And so the question is quite simple. It was possibly mentioned during the interview. If not, you need to go to the buffwear.co.uk website to get the answer. And the question is, what material are the hides made from? There is a named brand material the hides are made from. And what material is that? So you need to do a little bit of research and drop me the answer, of course, to buff-competition at theoutdoorstation.co.uk. That's buff-competition at theoutdoorstation.co.uk. There's 4 days to enter into this competition. It closes at the end of play on Thursday, today being Monday, and that will be the close. So for people who are wear glasses, or perhaps want to protect their sunglasses, expensive sunglasses, and actual outdoor glasses as well, these are ideal for those. So a useful, practical, simple device, and the value of each prize is £19, almost £20 each. So well worth it, and thanks once again to Buff. And that pretty well brings us to the end of this show. Thanks to everybody for listening and for giving the feedback and emails and so on. Please keep them coming. It's most enjoyable. Of course, enter the competition. You're on a fairly good thing at the moment. If there's sort of 50 or so people entering, then there's a fairly good chance of winning. So it's well worth the effort. I did say earlier on in the show that Hennessy Hammocks, the distributor in the UK, had ceased to trade, which was sad news. But during the show, I've actually had an email from Hennessy Hammocks in the States, and they say that distribution of the hammocks is still good in the UK. So that hopefully isn't something to worry about. If you're looking for a hammock, they are still available in the UK from a distributor. And that pretty well wraps it up for today. So I look forward to catching up with you next week, and we'll having some more competitions, some more interviews, and some more general fun stuff that we just do so well.
This independent programme has been brought to you by The Outdoors Station, the exciting new way to see and hear free information about the outdoors world. If you're a blogger, or if you have a website, you can now incorporate any of these podcasts directly to your site, completely free. Visit our website, theoutdoorstation.co.uk, for more information.